Hello everyone, and thank you for patiently waiting. My name's Josh from Career Map TV, and I'll be your host. Today we're joined by the NDA, who are going to talk to you about everything apprenticeships. We do have a dedicated Q&A section at the end, so please feel free to pop any questions in the chat box as we go through. So without further ado, I'll now pass it over.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. So my name's Kerry and I'm the Early Careers Lead for the NDA, the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority. Today's session, we're obviously going to introduce you to our vast variety of apprenticeships that we run across our group, and a little bit about our individual operating companies as well. So to deliver the session, I've invited 3 of our apprentices. So we've got a new apprentice, a degree apprentice and a former apprentice to talk about their own experiences within the NDA Group. So I'll just hand over to Lauren.
Morning everyone, my name's Lauren Gorge, Information Assurance Advisor at Nuclear Transport Solutions. So before myself, Rachel and Griff get started on talking about our career journeys and our time on apprenticeship, we just wanted to tell you a little bit about the Nuclear Decommissioning Authority and the group and what we do. So the NDA is made up of 5 operating companies, including the NDA, which Rachel is going to talk a little bit more about. The Nuclear Decommissioning Authority was established to decommission the UK's oldest nuclear sites securely, safely and sustainability. So this is really important for us, those three words at the end, safely, securely and sustainably, really important to the NDA Group and the different operating companies. It's one of the most important environmental programmes in the world, protecting people and planet. Our work ranges from reducing hazards at nuclear sites to delivering a permanent geological disposal facility for radioactive waste and transporting nuclear materials globally. So the NDA Group is very diverse in what we deliver, lots of interesting projects going on, lots of different work streams within the different operating companies. We also have a unique role supporting delivery of the government's sustainability ambitions and investing in social impact programmes to support communities around our sites, which is really important to us. And the NDA's work cleaning up the UK's nuclear legacy is the largest, most important environmental restoration programme in Europe. So lots going on, and Griff's going to tell you a bit more about some facts and figures that we've got within the NDA Group.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Griff Lewis from the Traws-funded decommissioning site, and I'm currently in my first year apprenticeship as a nuclear worker, health physics monitor. Yeah, so as Lauren was saying, the NDA is made up of 5 businesses. And yeah, 17 sites across the UK. 2024 was the NDA's most successful year in bringing in new apprentices. And yeah, whether you've got a scientific background and want to go into engineering, or like myself, radiological protection, or if you're interested in a career in project management, cyber or finance, yeah, there's pretty much something for everybody. Sorry, you can see me now. Yeah, so like I said, there's 1,500 apprentices taken on in 2024, and yeah, 1 year ago I was applying myself, and to now being here was something that maybe I couldn't see. But if you are interested in becoming an apprentice, I would say go to it, because I would never envisage myself being in this situation. And it's been 6 months that I've thoroughly enjoyed. So yeah, I'm in the radiation protection side of it, which is basically pretty much as it says, just protecting the workers and making sure they're not being exposed to any ionizing radiation. And at Traws-funded in Wales, obviously it was a producing site which is now being decommissioning. Hence the NRS is restoration services, which we are looking to hand back the site to to the public to, who knows, further develop that site. It would be fantastic if you are, like I said, an apprentice looking to join us. I would say go ahead and do that. It's an exciting time to be in the nuclear industry, as I've found out. Yeah, and you know, the long-term mission is to open up as many possibilities. Yeah, as we need diverse workforce helping us to drive the change and essentially the energy production in the UK. I hope that's been of some help to you, and I'll now hand you over to our next grad.
Hi all, so sorry I'm having some technical difficulties, a little bit zoomed in on the bottom there, but as Lauren alluded to, we have 4 operating companies under the NDA. So I'm a control systems degree apprentice working for Sellafield Limited, so I might be a little bit biased. But just to tell you a little bit about these 4 companies, so we'll start with mine, Sellafield Limited. We're based in West Cumbria. So we are the guardian of the UK's oldest nuclear facilities and the largest stockpile of nuclear materials. We're focused on safely managing nuclear waste, including material from legacy facilities and spent fuel from today's power stations ahead of permanent disposal facility being ready. So for a little bit on the nuclear transport solutions, so these guys are the leading freight operator and global provider for safe, secure and reliable nuclear transport services of rail and sea. And you can see on the screen here that they're also the most experienced transporter of nuclear material in the world, which is pretty impressive. And you know, we then also have nuclear waste services, so managing the national low-level waste repository, finding a suitable site and willing community for a geological disposal facility. And this is internationally recognised as the best way to permanently deal with the most hazardous nuclear waste we're dealing with at the moment. And then last but certainly not least, we also have the nuclear restoration services, which Griff alluded to a little bit there. And this company is safely decommissioning 13 sites housing the UK's first generation of nuclear reactors and research facilities. They're also preparing to welcome a further 7 stations from the second generation of nuclear reactors into decommissioning. And you can just see on the map there that I maybe should have made a little bit bigger for you guys, but you can kind of see the widespread over the UK of where all these companies coming under the NDA are. So, you know, we've got a vast variety of sites. They really spread up and down the country. And you might be looking there thinking some of them are near you. So, you know, pressing the wrong buttons here, but going on to this next slide, you can see a little bit there about as well, just some of the vast range of apprenticeship options we do have within the NDA. So, you know, some of these are a bit niche to the nuclear field. So you can see nuclear operator, nuclear welding inspection, but then there's also a really big range of careers as well that kind of can be applied outside the nuclear industry. So, you know, you've got firefighter, business admin, mechanical technician. So there's a huge range. There's even more than what's on there. So I really advise that you go and kind of look into the websites once you're finished on this call if you see there's something you're interested in. So I'll pass back to Lauren, who's going to tell you a little bit about her journey.
Apologies, I think we've got Griff first, Rachel, if Griff doesn't mind talking a bit about his journey, and then we'll go into Rachel and mine.
Hi everybody. Yeah, so back to myself. Yeah, I'm Griff Lewis, and as you can see, I'm a current apprentice at Nuclear Restoration Services in Trawsfynydd, Wales, and it was good to see that map because it does show you how broad our sites are, whether it's Scotland, England and Wales. Yeah, so yeah, I'm an apprentice at Trawsfynydd decommissioning site, and like I alluded to, I'm now halfway through year 1 in my nuclear worker apprentice as a health physics monitor. I actually applied, it was more broad role, it was nuclear decommissioning, and as the process of the application went further on, they put me into the health physics side of things, because as Rachel was showing you, this is such a broad scale of what side of the company you can actually go into. But for myself, maybe enjoying the mathematics side of it and the kind of problem solving side, health physics suited me, and so far it's been great. You know, it's hands-on, I would say, something that maybe I wasn't expecting so much straight away. I'm actually in the field on the job most of the time. Well, I should say all the time. I'm buddied up with a qualified level 5 health physics monitor, which really helps because I can learn from their great habits and their experience, and ask the questions. And yeah, they're always pushing us to ask the questions, and yeah, never sort of making you feel uncomfortable at any time. And yeah, that's what I would say. I've not felt uncomfortable at all with the college side of things. So I go to college one day a week for the academic side of things, and it really helps tie in the both. So yeah, like it says on the screen here, when completed, I will have hopefully achieved my NVQ level 2 in radiation protection, and after the first year I will become a level 3, which is more of the theory side of things, and then with the level 5, maybe more of the practical side, with the evidence work. So showing that you've worked on the site in all areas, whether that's sort of routine or compliance work, or actually on current projects. So at the Traws-Fynydd side, we got the height reduction, so it's actually bringing the building down in height to the next phase. Then that yeah, it may be looking at the reactor removal itself. My former career, I'm more of a mature apprentice, and you know, if you are over the age of 25, I would say don't let it put you off at all, because nearly half of the apprentices that the NDA take on are of 25 years of age and over. So I myself am 36, so you know, I was doubtful and, you know, a bit skeptical whether I would be taken on, but not at all. Like I said, to be hosting this chat, it was only 12 months ago that maybe, like some of you aspiring apprentices that are watching this today, I was only just applying to be part of the NDA group. So yeah, like you can see here, I was a professional cyclist. Yeah, which was a long 10-year career, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Got that side of my calling out of my system, and now I'm competing in triathlon to yeah, get that physical itch. Yes, so yeah, every Thursday I attend college in Bangor, which is a really good, well thought out course. We've got successful apprentices at Traws-Fynydd who are now fully, you know, fledged health physics monitors. Actually, even the site director himself was once upon a time in the health physics side of the company. So it's something that the employees tell us is to always be inspired, not to think that you are going in as a health physics monitor and that's it. You know, sky's the limit kind of thing, and that's really positive for me to hear. And yeah, step by step, who knows? I'm to be going in hands-on is really helpful, I think, because I get to see the broad picture of the actual decommissioning, which really helps. But yeah, I hope that's been of help to you. You can see in the picture that in Wales we have a very beautiful surroundings here, and you can see both SS1 and SS2, the two reactors with the outbuildings, within Snowdonia National Park. So yeah, thanks for learning. Thanks for watching, and I might see you at the end for any questions and answers. I'll now pass you on.
Hello, so me again, Rachel. So like I mentioned, I'm a current degree apprentice at Sellafield Limited. I'm studying control systems, and I started my journey with Sellafield in January 2021. So I'm now in my 5th and final year of my degree scheme, studying for my bachelor's. So I joined Sellafield following my A-levels, where I studied in Bower and Furness. I did A-levels in maths, chemistry and biology, and admittedly, so control systems, FYI, quite computery. I maybe thought at first, okay, perhaps these don't align very well, but I think if there's one thing that kind of the application process showed me, it's that it's not necessarily kind of the content of your A-levels that matters, because at the end of the day, when you're doing any of the apprenticeships, it's all the same. You'll be learning new things. They're there to teach you. So, you know, I wasn't expected to kind of know the complete inner workings of computer, how to program before I got there, because that's what they're there to teach me. And, you know, I'm now doing my degree in plant engineering through the University of Cumbria, and this is all based in West Cumbria as well. And this is funded by the NDA as part of their £45 million investment every year. As part of this, I study 1 day a week at university, and I spend 4 days a week gaining work experience at Sellafield. So I'm based supporting the legacy pond facilities. That's kind of where I spend most of my time. And as part of this, this is supporting high hazard nuclear retrievals from the most hazardous plant in Europe. So just to kind of touch on a little bit more about Sellafield. So we're the largest nuclear site in the UK. And, you know, to put that in perspective, that's 6 square kilometres of space. It covers over 200 nuclear facilities and over 1,000 buildings. And, you know, within those 200 facilities, we're also home to 4 of the highest hazard nuclear facilities within the NDA estate. So, you know, when you can compare that to something, I think the best way I've been told to describe it is almost if you picture a village. So, you know, we're not just, you know, a nuclear site. We also have to support that. We have shops. We have civic sound. We have, you know, doctors. We have everything based that kind of means we can function as a community. Could probably live there if you wanted to. I mean, not going to be allowed, but, you know, just to put it into perspective, like, we cover a vast range. There's so much you can get involved with. And when you consider 200 nuclear facilities as well, each and every one of these facilities are facing unique problems. And, you know, as an apprentice there, you're coming on to take new and exciting challenges. You know, you are the future of the nuclear industry. So, you know, you might be revolutionising the way that we approach nuclear decommissioning. You can be facing the first and kind of unique problems in the world supporting nuclear. So there's really a very vast amount you can get involved with. In my time as an apprentice, I've never done the same task twice. I've always been involved in new and exciting challenges. For me, I work in a team of 7. I work with experienced engineers from kind of across the industry. They might not all have necessarily trained within Sellafield, and they all bring kind of unique and individual experiences to the team where we all learn from each other. And it's been kind of a very welcoming environment, you know. Always free to ask questions, which I've been told I ask a lot of. So, you know, just a little bit more about, you know, my specific discipline as well, which is control systems. So if you look on the screen here, this slide shows the wide range of equipment that we are required to manage and maintain and modify on the Sellafield site. And this spans over 45 years. So, you know, comparing it to Queen Elizabeth, to, you know, mobile phones, you can really see kind of the vast development and the vast kind of scope of what we have to deal with every day. And our support services range from, you know, Rockwell PLC2s, which, you know, to give you perspective, very, very old. And we're also dealing with, you know, kind of gigantic robot arms that like revolutionise our approach to decommissioning and how we're keeping our people safe. And with all this, we also have IT data centres in main site where we are supporting as our equipment is becoming obsolete. We're having to look into new and exciting challenges and how, we can continue to support facilities throughout their lifespan. And to do that, we need to ensure that we have the right capability, skills, spares, training, contacts in place. And we also need to make sure our processes and procedures are in place. This is where kind of joining as an apprentice is great, because there's really so many different areas you can get involved in, so many different technologies, and you're never ever bored. And as well, it's worth considering that, I think for me, I've been able to really make my apprenticeship what I wanted it. I've been able to support different areas of the business. I've been able to support new and exciting projects whenever I basically fancy. And I think, a big fear I had going in the kind of choosing an apprenticeship over perhaps your more traditional route through university into gaining a degree, I did kind of worry that I might miss out on some of, the kind of more social aspects that you would associate with, university freshers. I had a lot of friends going there in their first weeks, and, I was a bit like, oh, well, this is a bit pants. But actually, you'll find that, we have really well established social communities. We have apprenticeship councils where, we have people kind of organising these things. Last year, there was a trip to Barcelona to go and see some of their exciting nuclear work going on there. So I think for me, you're not missing out on anything by doing an apprenticeship. You get the same experience, but when you come out of your time, you're going to be an experienced engineer, an experienced manager, whatever it is you choose in your discipline, you'll kind of be well on your way into your career with that. So I think that is me, and I will actually pass on to Lauren this time.
Thanks, Rachel. So my name's Lauren Gorge. I'm one of the former NDA apprentices, and my career journey started about 5 years ago now. I left schools, GCSEs, A-levels, and went straight into an apprenticeship scheme. So I began the cybersecurity apprenticeship scheme with the NDA Group in October 2019. So during this time on the apprenticeship scheme, it was a 2-year scheme where we got involved in different placements. So my first placement was with International Nuclear Services. I think first on your apprenticeship, you think it would be quite daunting, but everybody's so supportive within the group. Learning in the workplaces, had opportunities to travel, meeting and shadowing, really important when you're just getting into your apprenticeship scheme, learning about the different operating companies, how we function, and how we work as a business sort of collaboratively as well. Moving on to direct rail services, in November 2020, this is where I continued to learn and prepare for my endpoint assessment. So a bit more technical experience, as well as sort of the softer skills as well, which is more of my area. So I was lucky enough to be based with two of the transportation sides of the NDA Group, which worked out quite nicely for me because actually INS and DRS merged in February 2021 to form Nuclear Transport Solutions, which is where I am now, full-time as Information Assurance Advisor. So why an apprenticeship scheme? For me personally, didn't really fancy going to university. That was just complete personal preference. I wanted to stay local. We're lucky in West Cumbria to have Sellafield site, like Rachel mentioned, and lots of different other opportunities within the nuclear industry. But that spreads across the UK now. As Rachel showed on the map, there's such a wide variety of options in terms of location, and apprentices get to sort of be on placement at different operating companies up and down the UK. 2-year scheme, learning and earning at the same time. So you're getting that on-the-job experience as well, working alongside professionals within the industry who have done this for many years. And that experience is invaluable when you're an apprentice, asking lots of questions, getting involved in different projects. It's so important, working alongside those professionals. You do get that knowledge and experience from them. You get your training provided as well. So during my time on the cybersecurity apprenticeship scheme, we had different sessions, so block training, different exams throughout, coursework, things like that. but it's all manageable. We had time during the week, during our working week, to complete that coursework, different training modules and things like that. Chance to move around the NDA group, so move around different placements. As being mentioned by Rachel and Griff, the NDA group are very supportive and basically accommodate your needs. If you want to get involved in different types of work, if you suggest that, it's always tried to be accommodated and best possibilities. And amazing opportunities as well. I'll talk about a couple of the opportunities I've had to travel, get involved in different conferences, which is great. And I think the main thing, the NDA group apprentices are trusted to get out there and get involved with different networks, which is really positive. Talk a bit about stereotypes here. So cybersecurity can seem a bit daunting, and to be honest, to me, I thought I'm never going to be technical enough to do that. But completely looking into it, I think I thought of these two images on the screen, sort of sitting in a dark room and hacker, which is completely not me. I like to get out to the business and speak to people and get involved in different activities. And don't get me wrong, there is a complete side to the technical aspects of cybersecurity, which you can get involved in. But for me, that wasn't something that I was particularly interested in. So I think my main message behind this is never sort of look at an apprenticeship and think that could never be me, because when you actually delve deeper, there is so much more that you can learn on apprenticeship schemes and different types of apprenticeship schemes as well. So cybersecurity, I get involved in, don't get me wrong, some technical aspects, but more training, awareness, culture, supply chain security, risk, policy and procedure work, getting out with the business, doing training. So many different aspects to each apprenticeship, I'm sure. What does my typical day look like? And to be honest, no 2 days are exactly the same. There's always something different going on, new challenges, new problems to solve. I'm lucky enough that I get to work from home and in the office, so I get that home office balance. I get to work from home the majority of the week, and then 1 or 2 days in the office as well. So different offices we have, different team meetings and things like that. Deliver and create training. So this is something I'm passionate about, delivering and creating some training. Recently, just last week, I was on board one of our vessels, delivering some training to the shipping crew, or I could be delivering virtual training. So complete different, exactly no 2 days are the same. Working with the business, providing awareness on cybersecurity issues. This is something we do regularly across the NDA group, providing sort of awareness on cybersecurity, both for home and work life. We also get involved in data protection, so help out the data protection officer as well as doing cyber, and I get to attend conferences, lucky enough to travel, get involved in different conferences and networking with other people and other apprentices, former and current. I've just popped a couple of pictures up here, some of my opportunities and experiences. Whilst being on the apprenticeship scheme, I was lucky enough to travel to Monaco and Vienna. So just showing that apprentices are trusted to get out there and represent the NDA group network, and these networking opportunities have only benefited the company and myself going forward as well. So I get to work with the likes of the World Institute for Nuclear Security, Women in Nuclear, lots of different partners in the industry, which is great. And then being out to Vienna another couple of times as well, on the back of sort of the trips when I was an apprentice. So many great opportunities to get involved in. Conferences around the UK, also drop-in sessions with the company, promoting cyber and general nuclear security as well. So many different opportunities to get involved in within the NDA group, no matter sort of what apprenticeship scheme you're on. There's always opportunities out there, whether it be local in the UK or going abroad to attend different conferences and events. So I always sort of finish with my three messages and advice. I think an aspiring apprentice, or if you're on an apprenticeship scheme now, always say take any opportunity when given the chance. Really important to take risks and always be yourself whilst doing so. The NDA group is a perfect place to do all of these 3 things. And yeah, just if you are interested, definitely look into an apprenticeship scheme. They're only going to benefit you in the long run as well. So I think that's it from all of us. If anyone has any questions, we're more than happy to take them.
Yeah, perfect. I just want to thank, everybody, all the presenters for doing such a great job. As you've rightly just said, this is now the Q&A time. So please feel free. I see we're a little bit shy in the chat function. Please feel free to pop loads of questions in there. We've got plenty of time. I just want to take this time just to invite all the apprentices back up. All the presenters, should I say. Because I do have a quick question. I'm wondering if you can shed your expertise on it, if that's okay. So in terms of, applying and going through that kind of process, now you've got that time to look back, what would you say, not necessarily what you've done differently, but what would you say to someone starting that process or wanting to start that process, if that's okay?
Yeah, I'm happy to start answering this one. So for me, I think when I applied originally, I was almost embarrassed to kind of say some of my hobbies. I thought, well, the nuclear industry aren't going to care if I am the social media officer on my student council. They're not going to care if I play cricket. But actually, they're all really important because they kind of show who you are, what your interests are. For me, playing cricket, great, so you can work as a team. So I think, don't be scared to put anything down. We're really interested to hear about you and your experiences, and we do want to know more.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And just to add on, I think when I first left school, I had my heart set on being a project management apprentice, and that didn't work out for me. And I think it's really important to apply for different apprenticeship schemes. And as I said, cybersecurity wasn't something that I ever considered, but after looking into it, it was definitely something I'm pleased I got into. So have a wide range of options and do your research as well on the different apprenticeship schemes that are available.
Perfect.
Sorry. Yeah. So just to reiterate that, I'm still making mistakes myself, but just go for it. Like I said, I was more of a mature student, being 36, coming in as an apprentice. I also thought that was a negative, but you can swing that into a positive in itself, saying you might have found your feet in life, and you more know what you want to do. Whereas as a young apprentice, maybe they'll look at it as you're coming in fresh, and that they can take you, you're younger essentially, and that you can go as far as you like. So I wouldn't look at either one as a negative. And with what I actually did on the arithmetic side of things and the puzzles, I got an app that was helping me, sort of problem solving app with the maths and like the STEM side of things. That really helped me, because there's quite a lot of that within the application process. It does take time, so maybe at times you'll think that your application has kind of been lost, but bear with it. In my experience, it was a good outcome. And again, when it comes to the final selection, I think to be as relaxed as you can. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but people like characters. They like for you to show the person that you are. They don't expect you to be robots. And like I said, I'm still making mistakes. But just go for it. Be yourself, and who knows what will happen. I definitely didn't expect that I'd be here hosting this to potential new apprentices.
Perfect. Anything else from anybody else? No, perfect. I think they did a pretty good job covering all of that. So thank you very much. So I see some people have started to put questions into the chat. That's amazing. Please keep them coming. So Lauren asks, can you say more about how much contact you have with other apprentices while you're doing your training? And I suppose I'd like to just chuck in a question on there in the end as well. Is when you're going through the apprenticeship, what kind of support do you have? Is it like you've got buddies, or is it a case of you've always got someone on hand that you can ask a question, if that's okay?
Yeah, so I'd actually love to answer this one. So during my time as an apprentice, Sellafield had an amazing apprentice council. So that meant that You know, I was in contact with apprentices from across all the different year groups within Sellafield, across all the different schemes. So, you know, I've met some amazing people doing that. It gives you an opportunity to, you know, monthly calls with basically all the apprentices on, where you can voice your thoughts and opinions, and you can get in contact. But, you know, also outside of that, you know, organising events. And I was really lucky 2 weeks ago to attend the Nuclear Week in Parliament with Griff, where I got the opportunity to meet apprentices from across the NDA estate, which was absolutely brilliant. But within all of that, for me at Sellafield as well, I studied my 1 day a week in college, and that is with all the people I started my apprenticeship scheme with. So from day one to 5 years down the line, we all see each other every week. It doesn't matter what lessons we're in, we all have those contacts, and essentially, you know, you'll always kind of have that community of apprentices supporting you along the way.
Perfect. Anybody else? Oh, she covered it all again.
Yeah, I can jump in. I mean, mine was a bit of a shorter apprenticeship, just being the 2 years, but we met up once a month on our block training sessions. We were quite a small group of cyber apprentices at the time, so it was about 6 of us, but still nice to meet up, because each person's placed at different operating companies around the NDA Group, so we could meet up and talk about our experiences within the different opcos. But we also had away days as well, which was great. So we had away days in the Lake District doing outdoor activities, team building, things like that, which was great to meet up with everyone and get involved with the apprentices and the wider group as well. And as Rachel said, there's lots of different opportunities, such as Parliament Week, Women in Nuclear, different conferences that a lot of the apprentices get to go to, and it's great to engage with everyone from around the group.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, with myself, we were invited to the Bristol hub within our first few weeks in the apprenticeship, where we got to meet 33 other apprentices that the NRS had taken on. There was, like a meet and greet kind of introduction that you could speak about, you know, your background, get to meet everyone. And as of that, then there's a chat function and sort of like a group of us within teams, so that if at any point any of the apprentices feel slightly daunted, we've got the early careers team on there and the other apprentices that we can sort of talk to. And yeah, it's definitely like an open book. Nothing is regarded as a silly question. And yeah, that week in Bristol hub moving forward is something that the NRS are looking to use every year now. So that's something that I see as a really positive thing, and something that I thoroughly enjoyed was going to the hub and seeing the work that's been done down there. As Rachel touched, you know, attending Nuclear Week in Parliament was again an opportunity of a lifetime, maybe. Being able to speak to experts and leading people within the NDA Group, including inviting my own MP, who actually turned up, and I was able to talk him through my apprenticeship. That was something really positive. And I think what we're looking to is to, you know, break that stigma and to make it more well known within our counties that there are these apprenticeships available, and how much of a positive outcome it's had on my life and my new career moving forward.
Yeah, perfect, amazing. There's just a quick question about sharing the link in the chat. I'm guessing that's referring to where they can apply. If it's okay, can I ask someone, you know, where would someone that is looking to start an apprenticeship with yourselves, where would be the best place for them to look? Is it in terms of a website, or is it just in? Yeah,
so I'm happy to share the.
Apologies, I think you've just muted yourself.
I do that on every Teams call, don't worry. So yeah, I'll share in the chat now the link to the NDA Group careers, the early careers page, and there is information on there around our various apprenticeship routes, each of the individual operating companies that the guys mentioned on the session. There'll also be information on their own separate websites as well. So yeah, the information's definitely there and definitely accessible. There'll be vacancies as well around our recruitment periods. Will be advertised on there for you to be able to apply through.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad someone knew what they meant by the link. Perfect. So the next question is a bit more about eligibility. So in terms of you graduated a year and a half ago and they've got a background in electromechanics, I believe, but lack industry experience. And I suppose I kind of want to open up this question a little bit more is maybe if someone's not sure about if their background fits any criteria or something like that, what's the best way to kind of find out them answers? Is it a case of, starting that dialogue, starting that process maybe, or is it all accessible, on a website or via that link?
Yeah, so each of the individual vacancies, we have a vast variety of different roles with different entry criteria, different requirements, and each of the guys on the call here will have applied for their role with completely separate and individualized experiences, qualification sets. So it is entirely down to what role you're applying. In terms of industry experience, for a lot of the apprenticeships that we deliver, the specific nuclear industry experience isn't necessarily, a primary focus. It's around, qualifications potentially, experience outside of the nuclear sector. Some will be more specific, but it entirely depends on what discipline you're wanting to enter into or what level you want to enter in at as well. So yeah, it's definitely on a case by case basis, or should I say, vacancy by vacancy basis.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's kind of the case apprenticeship wide. Is a lot of people, a lot of apprenticeships is a one-on-one or a vacancy to vacancy kind of situation. So the best thing you can do is research, really. Look at all your options and kind of take what you like, where you want to go, and just look into it as much as you can. But yeah, thank you very much for that. If anybody would like to add anything on, please feel free to interrupt me.
Yeah, no, I think it's worth mentioning as well what I think it was Rachel said about include everything. So whether, all your experience or your skill development doesn't necessarily have to have come from a nuclear role. It could have come from any aspect of your personal life. So like she says, the teamwork element could have come from something completely separate from actual professional work experience. So yeah, it's pulling every bit of your skill set and your experience together into one application for that vacancy. Yeah,
perfect. I see we've got another question, and I suppose we can refer this back to the answer about doing your research, because it's about specifically a certain apprenticeship. Again, I'd just suggest doing your research into what kind of situation you want to be in. But I suppose there is a question on the back of that to the apprentices. When you did apply for your specific apprenticeship, did you do anything in specifics? Maybe you did a bit of work experience here. Maybe, one of your hobbies kind of added to the experience. What kind of things did you do just to put your best foot forward in terms of applying?
I think for me, during my time at sixth form, doing my A-levels, I did a 6-week placement at one of the NDA Group. It was the NWS, so I did sort of a six-week summer placement. I knew I wanted to work in the nuclear industry at that point. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, but I knew that would put me in good stead to put on my CV and application forms. And as Rachel and Kerry said previously, it's about making yourself stand out. So that extracurricular activities and things you can talk about in interviews definitely help. Anything that you get involved in outside of work is also beneficial.
Perfect. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think probably similar experience to Lauren there, and that I wasn't fortunate to go on any placements, so I didn't necessarily have the background to say, I've experienced this, I've worked with these people. However, saying all that, just kind of putting forward the experiences you do have. So for me, I made sure during my time at college and towards the end of my GCSEs, I kind of did any opportunity that might make me more hireable. So, things like Duke of Edinburgh, getting involved, charities, anything you can do really to frame yourself in a good light. And for me personally as well, I also worked part-time as a waitress while I was doing my college studies. And that was something that was really good for me to talk about in interviews, because I was able to kind of show that, I had time management, I'd worked with people, I had that kind of like customer experience. So that was a really good thing for me to talk about.
Amazing. Anybody else with anything?
Yeah, for myself, academically, on the highest that was required on my application was GCSEs. It was that only I had math, science and English, so with C and above. So that shows you, you don't have to have gone to university to have got into an apprenticeship. And that was basically how I got in. I did attend my A-levels, but that wasn't a requirement to get into the decommissioning side with NRS. I touched on it earlier. I wasn't totally sure whether I'd be going into the mechanical, the engineering or the health physics side of things. That was kind of decided upon the business itself through how I interviewed. So I would imagine that my communication side of things, I actually work on TV a little bit, and during my job I'm constantly with workers, whether that's deplanting, with them on the tools, pulling actual old plant machinery out of buildings. I'm obviously keeping an eye on them, making sure they are safe at all times, which communication is really important. So I would say, yeah, things like if you have got any background in communication is essential. And yeah, it can be something that you don't think that's at all appropriate to what you're applying to, but yeah, just add everything, because yeah, they're going to look at it as a positive for sure.
Yeah, perfect, amazing. And in terms of demonstrating them kind of skills to employers, I'd just add on, show a genuine interest for what you're talking about, especially in if you are applying to the NDA. It just kind of course wide. If you show a genuine interest and show you've done your research, it'll always put you in a good stead. Hopefully I'm right in saying that. Perfect. It looks like I've got a lot of happy faces looking back at me. Perfect. So we've got just over 10 minutes left. So please feel free, to keep asking questions. I suppose another question from myself, if that's okay, is in terms of the kind of application process. Is it like an assessment center, or is it more one-on-one kind of, tailored throughout the process? Just wondering if someone can shed some light on that, if that's okay. Oh, you're on mute again.
Yeah. So with my process, I actually didn't speak to anyone face to face until the final process. It was like I mentioned, it was a lot of problem solving, arithmetic, puzzles. There was like a generated interview that had preset questions. So I tried my best to do sort of YouTube mock questions, but obviously you then get ideas, and that I was putting bullet points all around this kind of laptop, just with keywords kind of thing that I was doing. But yeah, it was a 3-part process that got me finally into my workplace, with, like I said, the final part being a face-to-face interview with the people within my site, which was HR, the head of health physics, and my team leaders. And once you get in, obviously you can ask for some feedback. It's always nice, you're expecting the worst, you're expecting the disappointment kind of thing. And I guess I was always ready for the disappointment of being rejected. I don't know if that's a good or bad way to look at it, but you've always got to keep moving forward. But in this scenario, yeah, you know, I got in, and yeah, it's just like I said earlier, go for it and be open-minded. I guess.
Perfect.
Yes, I think it's worth mentioning that each of the individual operating companies have their own recruitment processes, and they'll vary somewhat. But generally, there'll be obviously the application process. There'll usually be some sort of an assessment, whether that be individual or group based, followed up by a more professional interview as well. Like I say, there will be some variations on that, but that is generally the recruitment process.
Perfect. And again, I suppose that lends to doing a bit of research, you know, independently, kind of looking at the roles. I imagine that information is free to see as well, of kind of what happens.
Yeah, and you'll know the process upon invite anyway, so you'll generally have that awareness to be able to be able to prepare ahead of time.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So I can see we are coming up to the 10-minute mark. Again, we've got plenty of time. We seem to have a very shy chat function today. Please feel free. You know, we've still got some time to go through some questions. I suppose another question off the top of my head is, you know, as someone that is going into that kind of process of application, what advice would you have to someone that's not maybe sure about a specific role? What kind of things would you tell them, you know, to kind of maybe narrow down their searches? Or would it just be a case of doing a bit more research or starting a dialogue? Just wondering if any of you guys kind of experienced that yourselves, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I started, to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure what control systems was when I was looking at everything. So I knew I wanted to do a degree apprenticeship. I knew I had an interest in engineering, but kind of beyond, you know, like everybody's heard of electrical and mechanical. I wasn't really sure what else was out there. So for me, you know, Sellafield had, I assume it's the same with the other companies as well, but we have a great page that kind of goes through our careers and kind of tells you maybe what subjects kind of align to this, what kind of typical day might look like. And it was really informative for me. And even though, yes, like I still was a bit iffy on the whole control systems until, you know, I really got into the role, it was a great way to kind of see what it might look like. So problem solving, interesting kind of STEM subjects. So that was kind of how I identified mine. But then I think it is worth saying as well that whilst you are studying your apprenticeship, you know, for me, my subjects aren't just control systems. You know, I've had modules involving project management. I've done modules in mechanical engineering. You do get kind of that high level oversight of everything, while still obviously a specific focus on control. So you do get to experience everywhere, and it means that, you know, when you come off your scheme, you're not necessarily, you know, just that's the only thing you have experience in. It's like a really great pathway into exploring other areas of the industry.
Perfect. Anybody else?
No, I would definitely agree. I think you just need to do research. If you can chat to anybody that's currently in that position of an apprenticeship, that career that you're thinking of going into, have a look on the website, get involved in any career open days, career fairs, speak to people in the industry from the different operating companies in the group. But yeah, really important. And as Rachel said, you're not tied to that discipline necessarily once you're in the group, and there's so many different opportunities that you can get involved in. And on my apprenticeship placements, I didn't just do cybersecurity. There was lots of different aspects to the apprenticeship scheme. And if that's something you like, you could maybe go down that route later on in your career journey.
Yeah, with myself, as a broad, the title is radiation protection, but then obviously I qualify as a health physics monitor, and maybe the physics title of it was something that was daunting me a little bit, because not with a massive science background, I would say that physics in itself, in terms of the isotopes and how the reactor itself works while it was producing is something that you get taught fully on site, whether that's through the health physics people with NRS, or whether that's at college. The college aspect of things helps a lot, because you can take the questions that you've got from site back to your tutor at college. So I wouldn't let the physics side of things daunt you too much, as long as you've got the entry requirements. I would say really go into the apprenticeship, open-minded, and try and be as best as with your confidence as possible. And yeah, like the others were saying, just ask the questions, because there's a lot of people on site that have been there, for many, many years, even when it was producing. And these people love to answer your questions, because they get to share their experience with you of when it was producing, and they love the fact that you're interested, and they've got so much knowledge to share with you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we do have 5 minutes. I suppose I want to kind of use this time to kind of get a closing statement from each one of you, if that's okay. Not to put anybody on the spot, but maybe like a final tip or trick, or maybe just a good memory that you had going through the process, if that's okay.
I can start. I think the last three sort of statements on my slide. Just take any opportunity when you get the chance. Never feel like you can't do anything. Always push yourself in your apprenticeship schemes if that's the route you're going down. So many opportunities to be involved in, and just take those risks and be yourself whilst doing all of that, because I'm sure you'll come out the other end feeling positive. And once you're full time on your job, if you're lucky enough to get employed at the end, it's all worthwhile, and those apprenticeship experiences really valuable going forward in your career.
Yeah, I think very similar to what Lauren said there. For me, my biggest advice is just being a yes man. If an opportunity comes your way, take it. It's all going to massively help you down the line. The more you can do as an apprentice while you're still learning, the better you'll be at the end of your scheme. And I think as part of that, if you're not getting the opportunities you want, then don't be afraid to ask for them. I'm constantly pestering people in my department to let me tag along and see things. And, they want you to learn, they want you to experience, so they're all really friendly.
Yeah, to echo that, I was very scared, I could say, I guess, to be doing this today, but I said yes, and it's been a great learning experience. And your confidence grows as you prove to yourself that it can be done. When I was entering and coming on site for the first time, obviously nuclear it's a big word, but what I would say is that having learning how professional everyone is, and the precautions that are taken for every single job, you are never ever put in uncomfortable position, should I say. And yeah, my confidence in going to work and delivering safety to everybody, including myself, I'm totally at ease now. So I would say with that word and the apprenticeship itself, it's been a total eye opener to me, and making that message clearer to everybody, including the public, it's something that I feel fortunate to be able to do.
And I think from me, it would just be to encourage everyone to explore opportunities within the NDA group and within nuclear. There is sometimes misconceptions that it is solely nuclear roles, and it is. Obviously, that's a lot of our opportunities, but there's also a lot of roles that aren't within that niche of nuclear. There's business development, there's a business admin, there's IT, there's a vast array of opportunities that aren't specific to nuclear that we can offer opportunities for you. And the development opportunities that we have within group are vast. As these guys keep saying, there is a lot of opportunity for growth, for development, for movement across group within specific opcos, and also across the different companies as well. So yeah, just explore them, be open-minded, and yeah, do a bit of research and then apply.
Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. So that kind of perfectly takes us to the end of our time. I just want to say thank you, for all the viewers that we've had today. I want to extend that gratitude to obviously you guys for coming and just doing such a great job and answering them questions as well as you did. So thank you very much. I just want to remind everybody that this webinar was recorded. It will be available at Career Map TV at YouTube. We aim to upload it within the week, but if not, just give it a couple of extra days. We do try our best. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.